Hi, my name is Brent Butler, and you're watching The Bee Shine. When I was a kid, I always wanted to do music in general. I think that probably came from my dad. He just had a really awesome, eclectic taste of music, and I didn't really get to see him so much. But when I did, he always just, he would always turn me on to like great bands. And then even like when Eminem came out, even though he was a classic rock guy, he loved Eminem and turned me on to that. And so I just, from a very young age, wanted to play guitar and wanted to make music in general, and I'd be sitting at home, watching like The Box or something like that. And I'd see, Tupac and Biggie and everybody else on TV and just like, doing extraordinary things lyrically, that when I actually started writing my own songs, although I was brought up a lot on like punk and classic rock, the things that I wrote tended to gravitate naturally towards hip hop and towards this lyrical art. And I have such a profound love and respect for it that I just can't help but create it. I even if I tried to stop, I would be, at whatever day job and just coming up with like rhymes and things in my head that I would just want to broadcast in any way possible. I think it's a very pure form of expression that just has been like a huge artistic outlet for me. So there's definitely earlier moments that I had, like, seeing Hypnotize or something, with Biggie, and just thinking it was the coolest shit of all time. But specifically, I remember a time when I was flipping through the stations. I think my mom was driving me somewhere, and she listened to country music and stuff, and I'm flipping through, and I hear the chord progression, the instrumental to "What You Know." That dun 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 dun, and T.I. comes in, "What you know about that?" And my mind was blown. I thought it was just the dopest shit I'd ever heard in my life. Like, it was musical, it rocked. Tip, he just has like crazy Southern swag. And I was like rocking out, and it appealed to me on like a bunch of different levels musically, and I was like, I can do this. And I should do this. I'd be at school down in Vineland, New Jersey. Shout out to South Jersey. And, kids would be freestyling and having like these like hardcore like competitions, and sort of like that was how you were proving yourself. And, here I was, this, sort of inconspicuous looking white kid. If anything, I looked like I was maybe like a punk rocker or something. And I just decided to sort of jump in the ring. I started rapping and freestyling at them. I'm sure it wasn't great, but it was good enough that it was like, whoa. It kind of took people by surprise. And I love that feeling of taking people by surprise. And that sort of, I started gaining some notoriety for being able to do that around there. And then when I moved to New York about 6 years ago now, I was doing everything from performing like right over here in Washington Square Park, in the subways, just completely like go out there and meet people and just rap and freestyling at parties. My mom always wishes that I would be a singer and play guitar, and I don't know, maybe be like a country star or something like that. My family's always been like very supportive of me doing musical things, even if they weren't, able to support financially or anything like that. Growing up, I think the creativity was always advocated, from when I was like really young and drawing, to then when I wanted to play drums. My mom dealt with the racket, and So when I started taking hip hop more seriously, it was like, you know, Brent, this stuff that you're putting online and that you're doing, you're not going to be able to get a job ever. And I'm like, well, fuck that. You know, this is what I love. This is what I want to do. And yeah, what can they say? You know, I'm doing me, living in New York. I'm handling myself. So back in like 2010 or something, I was working on the High Line, trying to make some extra cash. And I was always rapping, even sometimes at customers, which my bosses didn't love. But, you know, my manager knew that I was a musician and a rapper, and she was friends with a casting director that was casting for an indie film, like a dark comedy called Hellaware. And they needed a white rapper from Delaware, and I'm a white rapper from South Jersey. I was born for that part. I wasn't looking actively for acting gigs, but I decided to go to the auditions, and basically got cast immediately. I sort of like read a bit of the script, and then they were like, well, do you like, you know, what interests you? And I'm like, well, I actually rap. And they were like, well, spit at us. And I was like, you know, my spectacular vernacular is accurate as a calculator. You know, I started going off on them with like shit like that. Got cast in the movie. That premiered at BAM Cinema Fest. Recently, it did a theater run right over at Cinema Village, and it's available now to buy on iTunes and to rent. It's on Amazon and Google Play as well. So that was a huge highlight. Other cool things that I've been able to do is just some of the performances that I've done, you know, myself and also with General DV. Shout out to DV. In and around the city, and just I'm such a, you know, performer and entertainer at heart, and I feel amazing on stage, and getting like, you know, the positive reaction that we've been getting from the audience is just, you know, mind-blowing. If I try to come up with what my music has done for me that I'm most proud of, you know, there are great things like having been in the movie Hellaware, you know, having traveled, you know, across the country and performed. I'm proud of those things, but I think what's been more meaningful is, you know, the way in which music has helped me connect with the world around me and even with my own family. For example, I have this little cousin named Madison, who otherwise I would really have no way of connecting with her, communicating with her, and recently I re-recorded a clean version of one of my songs, which was not an easy task. I basically all foul language and drug references had to be replaced with like kid-friendly things, and so it took some effort, you know, but I sent it to her and sort of made a little video and said, you know, this is for you. And according to my grandparents that you know, take care of her, she was just, you know, totally in love with it, and it really, you know, boosted her self-esteem, and I hope it inspires her to do things. So I think that, you know, being able to connect and inspire family and friends to be, you know, successful and courageous, and to be brave, and to pursue your dreams, and being able to say like, hey, you know, I'm doing it, and if I can, you definitely can. That's by far been the most meaningful thing. I want to be the greatest, you know. I want to be the greatest of all time, for sure. I want to push the envelope with everything that I put out, constantly, consistently. I mean, you look at somebody like, you know, Kanye, for example, who, you know, with every album is trying to take the culture somewhere new. I want to feed the culture. I want to keep hip hop alive and vibrant and growing, because it's an organic, living thing. And I want to be remembered as somebody who came in and wasn't, you know, detracting from the culture, wasn't taking selfishly from it, but somebody who truly cared about it, and you know, brought a whole new, you know, opened up a whole new door to a, you know, a new arena of you know, sound and artistic expression that can be experienced through hip hop. So I guess I want to go down, as an artist who just put everything out there, and left my mark on the world, and hopefully, inspired people in a positive way.